Thank you. Thank you and congratulations. Wait a second. I know what you're thinking. Why is this guy even congratulating me? I didn't do anything yet. Well, the reason I'm congratulating you is because you've chosen to invest your time with Ingram Micro this week at our Digital Cloud Summit. And specifically, you've chosen to invest your time with me today for my session. And I really appreciate that. We're going to talk about the cloud and Ingram Micro's role in the cloud, and specifically how we can help your business grow. Now, I use that word invest very carefully because I believe it's exactly that, an investment. You are investing your time, a portion of your day today to spend with me. And your expectation is that you're going to reap the rewards for the weeks and months and years ahead. And my promise to you is that I'm going to deliver content that should inspire you to take action. You know, there's a massive opportunity for the IT channel as a result of this unfortunate global event. And I encourage you to seize the opportunity. And let's spend the next few minutes talking about how and why. So, first up, my name's Greg Onoprijenko. I'm the Director of Cloud with Ingram Micro in Canada. So I've got responsibility for the entire cloud business. That means I cover sales, I cover marketing, I cover technical resources, I cover all vendor management responsibilities, and it's been a really great experience. But I get it. I work for a $50 billion company. You probably think you and I don't have anything in common. Well, I bet you might be surprised to learn how much we do have in common. You see, I started my career working for the big corporate billion-dollar companies. I spent, I did roles with sales and sales leadership with companies like Ricoh and EMC and TELUS. But then I left that space in 2004 to start my own IT services company called Eternity. In fact, the real name of the company was Eternity Business Continuity Consultants, Inc. Yeah, we helped companies navigate through various disasters and threats like global pandemics. In fact, I remember helping our customers through the bird flu and the swine flu. And who knows that, all those years ago that experience would pay off and become so valuable to what's going on today. Well, more about that in a little bit. I built my company up over a 10-year period, and we started out as a traditional IT VAR partner. We had a lot of on-prem products and on project-based professional services. But very quickly, we transitioned to a monthly recurring services, cloud services model for a lot of obvious reasons. But I personally lived through that transformation of that business. We did that journey, and it was really hard, and we learned a lot of lessons. And I think that gives me a unique ability to speak on that. I've got a unique qualification to provide guidance and advice on that, and that's what I'm going to attempt to do over the next little bit. But things went very well for us at Eternity. We built a great business, and in late 2013, we sold it to a large US billion-dollar cloud services provider. Now, I stayed on with that company for a couple of years to transition my business and to get them established in Canada. But that's precisely when Ingram Micro came calling. You see, they were looking for a business leader to lead their Canadian cloud business at that time, which was really run out of the US primarily. It was a great opportunity for me. Through the Eternity years, we did a lot of business with Ingram Micro. We bought a lot of the cloud services. I had the fortunate opportunity to spend 4 years on the Cloud Advisory Council for North America with Ingram. So I learned a lot about their program. I saw it take shape before my eyes. And when they came looking for a leader, I was really excited because it was a great fit. I had built some executive relationships during that period of time as well. And I realized that this was an opportunity that I could not pass up. I'm really glad I took it. And, 4 years ago, I joined Ingram Micro, and it's been a great ride ever since. We've built a really great cloud business in that period of time. And we're really set up well for future explosive growth. So, digital transformation was already well underway in early 2020, but something happened that the world could not have seen coming: a global pandemic. Now, something that was already in motion has really hit a high gear and created a really massive opportunity for the IT channel. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella said it very, very well in April. He said, "We've seen 2 years worth of digital transformation in 2 months." Now, think about that for a minute. Pretty incredible, right? what COVID did in one fell swoop was sent everybody home to work. All right. Some did it easily because they were well prepared. Some struggled with it. But I'll speak about Ingram Micro's experience. Ingram Micro is a global organization with over 35,000 employees, and we have a very specific work in the office culture. Now, it was amazing for me to see that within a couple of short days, the entire workforce, our warehouse employees aside, shifted to a work from home environment. And man, was it ever a fantastic experience. Now, we had some of the technology already because we were prepared, but some of it we had to buy just to top up our capabilities. But it was amazing to me to see how fast we did it, how seamless the experience was. And it's worked out so well. I mean, people, let's face it, people need to continue to meet. They need to continue to communicate with each other. And I think the experience here has been positive generally across the board. And I'm not sure that's ever going to go back to the way it used to be. Coronavirus has had an impact on IT spending. The IT infrastructure hardware was already in some decline, but we believe it's going to be the hardest hit through this coronavirus experience. There's a lot of IT professionals out there, I'm sure, that are used to going into a physical data center to perform their work. They're used to getting access to physical equipment so they can perform the maintenance and upgrades and tuning that those IT systems require. Well, something like a global pandemic restricts your access or maybe even eliminates your access to get into those on-premise data centers. And for those that had already adopted that, their remote public cloud environment, they didn't have to worry about that because they didn't need physical access to systems or a data center. There's a lot of great solutions out there with companies like AWS and Microsoft Azure that, you can run your entire IT management system from your home. And that's essentially what a lot of folks did. But I'll tell you what, as a result of coronavirus, that's going to be the demand is going to spike, and it's that business is going to take off even faster than it's already moving. Another area that suffered as a result of coronavirus was on-premise professional services, project-based services. A lot of those folks have not been able to access the on-premise environments. Their projects have halted, and we believe that to continue on even post-COVID. The one area of IT spending that has seen an increase is in software and software as a service, right? And I mean, picture it, again, back to the example of not being able to access your systems. Anybody who's already using a SaaS type application, like an Office 365 or a Google Gmail, right? You never need access to those systems. And the adoption of SaaS services has already spiked up as a result, and we believe it will continue to increase post-COVID. Not surprisingly, one area that's absolutely seen an explosion in adoption is video conferencing, right? Everybody went home. We still needed to meet. And the adoption of video conferencing services such as Microsoft Teams and Cisco WebEx and Zoom and some other applications have really exploded. And I think everyone will probably admit, I know many of you watching this have had your own video meetings over the last couple of months. I think you guys would probably admit it's a pretty good experience, right? Probably has exceeded your expectations. It certainly exceeded mine. It's a really effective way to meet with people. So there's an explosion of adoption of these new services. And again, even as we get out of the pandemic, I don't think it's quite going to go back to the way it was. People are going to miss some face-to-face interactions. Don't get me wrong. But the use of video conferencing is here to stay, and it will never go away. So there's a real spike in demand for these types of services and for all unified communications as a service type solutions, right? So we expect that to continue post-COVID. Another area right on the heels of video conferencing that's enjoyed a spike is cloud services in general, and specifically around cybersecurity. As people have gone home to work, a lot of remote workers are now vulnerable to breaches. And you need cybersecurity software to protect those users, right? So a big spike in adoption of cybersecurity software was already big before, but it's even picking up more speed. We believe that to continue to sustain in the future. So what happened was everybody went home all of a sudden. Some companies had an easy time because they were prepared. Some struggled. But by now, everyone's kind of figured out, right? All businesses have figured out how to do it, at least temporarily. But this is going to create a brand new opportunity for IT channel providers because they now have a bit of a luxury to prepare, right? They're working, maybe not, they don't are fully equipped, and they're going to look for advisors to help them make the right technology decisions. And it's a great opportunity for IT channel partners to fill that gap and really play that role and help these businesses out. So here we are. It's decision time now. This whole experience has created an immediate opportunity, and you need to figure out if this is something that you're going to seize, right? This was already in motion. The digital transformation, the journey to the cloud was already moving, but in the last 3 months, it's really taken off. And your customers, their businesses are going to need help. You've got to make a decision if this is something that you want to participate in. You know, this Darwin guy was onto something all those years ago. You know, and that theory of evolution definitely holds true in the business world. For those that fail to move quickly, their businesses will simply vanish. For others who jump at this opportunity, they'll not only survive, but they will thrive. You know, at our last cloud summit, our senior executive vice president of global cloud, Nimesh Dave, made a bold statement. He said, cloud is an extinction event. Now, all these months later, it seems like a prophecy, right? And I believe that IT channel providers right now will fall into one of three groups. They're either going to fail to move and let this opportunity pass them by, and they will perish. There's another group that will slowly regain their business, slowly regain the momentum that they had pre-COVID. And for a small elite group who really leap at this opportunity, they're going to experience explosive growth that even they wouldn't have been able to foresee. The only question is, which one of those three groups are you going to be in? Are you agile enough? Is your business flexible enough? Do you have the discipline to make this shift? And if you are agile enough, can you move fast enough? This is not I'm not advising you to sit back and think this over. You need to make some quick decisions, and you need to decide if this is something your business can move quickly on. I'm going to make a bold statement here. In this time right now, I'm going to say that your existing customer relationships will not matter. I'm going to repeat that. Your existing customer relationships that you hold dear and true to your heart will not matter if you can't demonstrate to your customers that you can move and react to their demands with confidence and speed. If you can't deliver what they're looking for right now, they will leave you and they will move to your competitors. Are you going to allow that to happen? So here we are. We understand now what the business impact of COVID is. We understand that there's a massive opportunity for the IT channel if you choose to participate. We understand that there's a handful of services that are really hot right now that maybe you should look at investing in. You think you're agile enough? You think you can move fast enough? Well, I'm going to walk you through 8 areas of competency that I believe you need to master if you're really going to go out and seize this opportunity. Here's area number 1. Pick a specialized focus area. We've identified 3 areas right now that are really, really hot. Infrastructure as a service, being able to move your customers' IT workloads from an on-premise environment to the cloud. Ingram Micro has a number of great solutions to choose from, and we'll walk you through those in a minute. But IT infrastructure as a service is something you should absolutely consider getting specialized in and getting really dedicated and serious about. The second area, video conferencing and unified communications as a service. People need to communicate. They need to communicate no matter where they are. If they're at home, if they're at a cottage, if they're at a beach, if they're in their car, or if they're in their office, they need reliable mechanisms to communicate with other people. It's a great opportunity for you to consider. And the third area, cybersecurity. There's already a lot of security solutions out there. It was already a growing area, but right now it is ultra hot because people have to be secure when they're working in these remote locations. So pick one of those specialized focus areas, maybe 2 at the most, but I caution you not to bite off more than you can chew. Get really serious about one of them and go deep and lock down that solution. Once you pick that solution area, lock it down. Don't start offering too many options to your customers. Don't offer a lot of customized scenarios, right? Every time you offer something customized and you get more and more options on the table, that slows you down. And you can't afford to be slowed down right now. You need to operate with speed. Figure out what that solution is, lock it down, don't offer a lot of variations to it, and move. The other thing you got to decide is, how are you going to deliver these solutions? Do you have the capabilities in-house with your existing team? Are you going to have to go out and hire resources to be able to implement these solutions? Or are you going to rely on a third party to do this for you? All of them are viable options. You need to pick the one that works best for you. Number 2, choose your vendor partnerships very wisely. Fortunately, Ingram Micro has amazing partnerships with many of these vendors that can really help you in your journey. As far as IT infrastructure as a service, we've partnered with all the top providers in that space. We work with Microsoft Azure, we work with AWS, we work with Google Cloud Platform, and we work with IBM. All of them are great vendors. We have great partnerships, and any one of those would be a great choice for you to choose. I highly consider you to take a look at those and find one that works for you. We can definitely help you through that. When it comes to video conferencing and unified communications as a service, again, we've got some great options here. We work with Cisco with their WebEx solutions. We work with Microsoft and Teams, right? We've got other platforms that work very, very well from a unified communications perspective. We work with Ring Central. We work with 8x8. It's one of the event sponsors, by the way. Thank you. We work with LogMeIn, and there's a whole host of other solutions that we can offer to you from a unified communications and video conferencing perspective. Check out some of those vendors. I'm sure you'll find one that works. And finally, from a cybersecurity perspective, we have a lot of options out there. From a cloud security perspective specifically, we're working with ESET, we're working with Cisco, IBM, right? We've got Sophos, we've got McAfee, we've got Checkpoint, we've got a whole bunch of really robust portfolio in the cloud security space. I'm sure you may be familiar with a lot of those solutions already, but give us a call and we'll walk you through some of those options and we'll help you choose. But I encourage you, as you're trying to decide which vendors to partner up with to pursue this opportunity, you need to understand that the vendors that you should be considering may not be the legacy IT vendors that you've built your business upon in the past. You see, from a cloud perspective, there's a lot of up and coming cloud vendors that are not household names, and you may need to do some research to figure out what the best solutions are. Don't just assume it's the same guys that you've already worked with. Investigate their channel strategy. Understand how their solutions work. Understand what the profit opportunity is working with these vendors for yourself. Understand what their partner programs look like. They're all a little bit different, right? Find something that works for you. Do the product due diligence. Make sure that it delivers all the features that your customers are looking for. And I would even suggest you ask your customers, maybe they have a brand preference already, right? You don't want to force something on them if they're resistant to it. Maybe they have a preference. So poll them, understand what their preferences are, and then go find a solution to suit their needs. Number 3, finalize your pricing and margin model. So now that you've picked a specialty area, you've picked some vendor partnerships that you want to work with, figure out how the pricing works and figure out what the margin opportunity is. And I'm going to say it again, lock it down. You want to have a really simple pricing model with not a lot of options, not a lot of customization available. You need to move quickly. You need to have a simple offering that your customers understand. Pick something that's easy and intuitive. This idea of a bronze, silver, and gold level of service, right? Everyone kind of gets that. That's a popular way to do it. Make it really easy for them to understand and make some choices. The other thing I'll advise you on is if you've got any barriers to service adoption, eliminate them. What I'm talking about are if you're charging things like installation fees and implementation fees, or you require your customers to get training first, or there's some type of certifications that they need before they can use these services, I'm telling you that will slow it down. That adds complexity to the decision process. Eliminate those things. Get the customers on board. If you need to circle back afterwards and provide education and training, that's great. But don't make it a prerequisite to do business with you. You don't want anything standing in your way of success right now. And talking about easy pricing models, you should consider offering free services, free trials, right? That's a great way to get customers on board, a temporary trial so they can kind of test the solution out, see if it works for them. Most of the time, they're going to keep it anyways. So it's a really smart way to get customers on board. And finally, talking about incentives to get them on board, if you do have to offer pricing incentives to get them to join you, I highly recommend you avoid long-term discounts over many, many months and instead switch to, some type of upfront incentive, maybe giving them their first month free or some type of upfront incentive to get them to sign on with, but don't discount your services long term. You want to protect your profitability. You're trying to build a long-term profitable business here. Bite the bullet up front, take the hit, get them on board, and then enjoy profitability for the rest of the months and years ahead. Number 4, establish performance metrics. How are you going to measure your progress? Are you going to measure it in terms of revenue? Are you going to measure it in terms of margin? Are you going to look for net new customers added? Are you going to look for a number of seats that you've recruited? Whatever the metrics are, figure those out and block them out over time so that you can track your progress, right? Figure out what you're measuring. And I'll tell you, set your goals. But if you realize you're not achieving your goals, I would encourage you to tune your metrics, not change your goals. It may take you a couple of different tries to get this right, but figure out how you're going to measure it and stick to it. Get some type of system to track your progress. Ideally, it's an automated system, but measure your progress and adjust on the fly. Number 5, conduct financial planning and analysis. All right. As you start to sell more and more monthly services, because that's what we're talking about, these different services, right? There's going to be an impact to your cash flow. You need to understand this up front. So I encourage you to do some financial forecasting, be conservative with it just to be safe, do some modeling to understand what the cash impact will be to your business. Because if you underestimate it, that could be costly for you. I would also encourage you to get as much credit upfront as possible. Even if you don't think you're going to need it, I would encourage you to go to your lending institutions, get some more credit, go to your vendors, get some extended credit from them, go to your distribution partners, get extra credit from them. Hopefully you don't ever need it, but if you hit some unforeseen circumstances and you get into a bit of a cash crunch, it's nice to know that that's sitting there waiting for you, and they can be flexible with you. I know Ingram Micro right now has many great creative financial solutions in market that can help you through this situation. Call us up and we'll explain to you how that works. I would also encourage you to do a lot of risk and opportunity planning. So what I'm talking about is on a regular basis, identify all the risks that exist that could threaten your financial success. At the same time, identify as many upside opportunities that exist that could offset some of those risks. Staying really close to that is a great way to manage your business long term and should give you some peace of mind that you've always got options in front of you. Number 6, fortify your operational processes. All right, as you're building a recurring revenue business, you need automation because this monthly invoice or monthly tracking system does not scale, not to the level that we're talking about here today. So if you're not already using some type of professional services automation tool, I encourage you to get one immediately. ConnectWise is a great option, an event sponsor here. They'd be happy to speak with you. Get some type of automation platform to automate your business end to end as much as possible. You'll appreciate it. I'd also encourage you to look at an automated cloud marketplace. All right, Ingram Micro Cloud Marketplace is a great decision. Not only is our cloud marketplace fully automated, we can actually integrate through APIs into your back-end systems. Our cloud marketplace can integrate into your professional services automation tool like ConnectWise. It can integrate into your e-commerce platform if you have one right now. It can integrate into your back-end building systems. You want to link all these systems up to eliminate any type of manual intervention, right? Because when people get involved, things slow down, gets complicated, right? People make mistakes. You want to automate your systems end to end. You should also consider some type of electronic signature tool. Hold on a second. You're not still using paper and pen to get agreements signed, are you? Look at DocuSign. Look at Adobe Sign. These are some great solutions out there that automate the entire signature process, right? Send your customer agreements out right from their phone. They can click and sign and everybody gets copied on it. Everything is integrated, no mistakes. It's a great way to manage your business. And speaking of customer agreements, you may need to change your customer agreements because if you've relied on your product agreements and your project-based professional services agreements, they don't fly in the monthly services world. As you transition your business, those agreements are not going to be sufficient. They're not going to provide you the level of protection that you require. So get those agreements figured out very, very quickly. Get them changed so that you can start using them immediately, and they can give you the protection that you're looking for. You also need to figure out how you're going to service your customers. As you sell more and more monthly services, your customers are going to be calling you. You've got to have some type of help desk figured out. Maybe it's even a 24/7 help desk to take your customer calls and handle their support. Is this something that your existing staff can handle right now today? Is this something where you have to go hire staff to man those desks? Or is this something that you're going to outsource to a third party to help you with? You need to figure that out quickly. Maybe you've got a staff and you kind of figured this out, but if you go after this opportunity like I'm encouraging you, the demands are going to go way up very, very quickly. You got to be able to deal with that, figure that out. I would also encourage you to have some type of customer onboarding process. As you onboard more and more customers really quickly, how are you going to get those guys on board? How are you going to train your customers, right? Have some type of system that's repeatable and really efficient and can really deliver a great customer experience as they join you. And speaking about customer experience, I encourage you to consider a customer success program. You know, a lot of tech companies have joined in with this philosophy now, where it's all about the customer. And I encourage you to think about this. You've got to pay attention to your customers. I encourage you to send regular customer sat surveys out to them to understand their preferences, right? Ask them, what are you guys doing a great job of right now? What are your biggest areas of improvement? You got to stay close to your customers, because if you don't adapt fast enough, they will leave you and they'll go elsewhere. You got to pay attention to stats, like how many new customers are coming on board with you, how many customers are terminating with you, how many subscriptions are they adding or deleting, right? What's the attrition rate, the churn rate? You've got to pay attention to all of these things so that you can react quickly and keep those churn rates down to continue to build your business. Number 7, prioritize your marketing strategy. All right. Now that you're selling some new services, you may have to sell to some new customers. Now, these customers may be different businesses that you're already selling to, or it might be the same businesses, the same customers that you're selling to, but it may be a different buyer within your customer. So what I'm talking about is, in the old world, the IT manager made all the decisions, right? When you sold IT stuff, the IT manager made all the decisions. They did all the technology evaluations. They did all the purchases. They had complete control over their technology environment. That's not how it is anymore. With these cloud services, you know who's doing all the purchasing? The sales managers, the finance managers, the marketing managers, the operations managers. They don't need IT for this. They can do their own homework. They can evaluate their own SaaS services because they're all really easy. And they make their own decisions. And half the time, they're buying IT services that the IT department doesn't even know about. You need to understand this, because if you're not yet selling to those lines of business managers, you're missing the opportunity, and this could cost you your business. Figure out who inside of your customers are making those decisions. Figure out what information they need to consume so that they can make decisions. Figure out what method of communication they prefer so that you can get them the right messages. All right? Got a lot of work to do in front of you here. I'm telling you not to do it on your own dime, though. If I know marketing can be expensive, right? Not everybody has deep pockets. Go to your vendors. Ask them for marketing assistance. They've got budgets. They can help you. Go to your distribution partners. I know we help partners all the time by providing marketing dollars so that they can do great marketing programs. So ask for help. We can definitely help you with it. Now, here's another thing. As you're selling these new services, how are you going to promote them? Are you going to just blend them into the regular solutions and portfolio that you already have? Or are you going to carve them out separately and start promoting them as separate services? My advice to you is to probably pull them out separately, because you need to get people's attention really fast in these specific areas that we're talking about. So I'd figure out exactly how to get that messaging right and get it out to market and make sure it communicates your value prop. Leads me to my next point. What does your website look like? You know what? Let's do a little exercise right here, right now. As I'm speaking, you're all sitting in front of your computer. So I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. Go to your company website right now. Pull up your home page. Everyone do it right now. I'll give you a few seconds. Pull up your company website. Take a look. My question to you is simple. Does it accurately depict the message that you want to convey to your customers? I bet you half of you right now are looking at your company website and you're saying, oh my God, this is not the message that I want to convey. Maybe it used to be once upon a time, but it certainly doesn't depict my current business. And it certainly doesn't depict the business I'm about to go into, which is to pursue some of these post-COVID opportunities. If you're one of those businesses that's sitting there saying, my website is completely missing the mark, you got a short window to get it fixed. I encourage you, when you get off this call right now, get working on your website, get it updated, get it portraying the message that you want to convey to your customers. Number 8, energize your sales team. All right, so you've picked a couple of solutions. You've got some vendor partnerships in place. You've done some financial forecasting. You've got some operational processes in place so you can scale the business, right? You've got some automation. You've got some marketing ideas figured out. Who's going to go sell this stuff now? Is it your existing sales team? Are you just going to drop these couple of new solutions on the existing guys and tell them to go out and sell it? Are you going to peel out a couple of those existing people and maybe make them the dedicated specialists for this new solution area? Do you even have the expertise on staff, or do you have to go out and hire brand new people right now to get after this? These are all decisions you got to make pretty quickly, all right? How are you going to measure these guys? What are the metrics for these new services? Is it revenue? Is it margin? New customer ads? Is it seats? Is it some other metric, right? How are you going to measure their progress? And then it leads to, how are you going to pay these people? Do you have an existing comp plan that makes sense? Or do you have to create a special new comp plan to drive the behavior for these new solutions? All right, there's different ways to do it. Are you going to pay them on revenue? Are you going to pay them on margin? Are you going to pay them on new customers, right? The other thing is, are you going to pay them an upfront commission? Or are you going to pay them a percentage of the trailing monthly fees? If you want my personal preference, I highly recommend that you pay them on an upfront basis, a one-time upfront commission as they bring deals to you, for a couple reasons. Number one, you want to incent them to continue to hunt for brand new customers. And if you're paying them a bounty on every deal they close, it's a great way to incent them to go find more deals. The second reason is, my preference is that you want to bite the bullet up front, pay a little bit, maybe extra up front. It's a little bit more expensive to pay for the new deals that they bring in. But then you enjoy the profitability from months 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 forever, right? You never have to share that profitability with a sales expense again. Incent them to hunt new deals, bring them to you, pay them up front, send them back out to go get some more deals. All right. The other thing is, the concept of a great deal is now changing. You know, in the old days, a great deal was probably a big revenue pop, right? Some big hardware deal or a big software licensing deal that brought in a lot of revenue up front. It was a product transaction. In this new world, those deals don't look like that anymore. Often there's not a lot of revenue associated right away when you bring those deals in. But you know what there is? There's a lot more profit attached to these new deals, and they go on forever, right? So you've got to change your lens of what a good looking deal looks like and start to tune and do your forecasting different and your funnel management different on those opportunities coming in. You got to completely change your perspective on how you manage that sales pipeline. So there you have it. We've talked about the business impact of COVID. We've talked about the opportunity in front of you. We've talked about some hot solution areas that you should consider. We've now talked about 8 areas of competency that I believe you need to master to really get after this opportunity. There's only one question left to answer. What are you going to do now? Are you going to seize it? One thing that should be obvious to you by now is that you've got a great team that's willing to work with you. I get it. There's a lot of work here to do. There's a lot to figure out. But I'll tell you what, Ingram Micro has a lot of people that are experts at this. They've got lots of experience. We've got a lot of solutions, a lot of advice that we can give you. So I get it. It's an intimidating situation, but you got to move fast. Don't think this over for too long. Reach out to us for help. We'd love to sit down and have a conversation with you, teach you what we know. Let's build a business plan together, because our success is your success, right? We're in this together. Let's go out there and win all this business, all right? Challenge us. We'd love to respond. So here we are. Pretty incredible how successful this digital cloud summit has been. We've even surprised ourselves how effective it is at communicating with the entire partner channel community in a remote setting like this. You know, U2 once said, it's even better than the real thing. And you know what? As much as I love Bono, as much as the next guy, I'm gonna have to disagree with Bono on this one. This is a fun way to do it, but this ain't better than the real thing. And because of that, I'm going to invite you to join us next May in Miami. We're returning back to the original format of this event. We want to take you to a nice location. We want to get face to face with you. We want to give you access to our executives and all of our people, and so we can really talk business and really share some great ideas together. We really hope you join us next year in Miami, so keep an eye out. We're going to send you all the details on how you can register. Look forward to seeing you there. So that's it. I want to thank you for tuning in. Hopefully I've delivered on my commitment to you to make this a valuable session. You felt it was a good investment of your time. We look forward to working with you. You know, one thing I want to do is I want to thank you for your business. You know, Ingram Micro has done really, really well through this COVID situation. But the only way we've done well is if you've done well, because our success is your success. So we've thrived. That means you guys are strong and healthy right now. It's pretty obvious. We've got the best IT channel partners in the world. You guys have proven that to us through this really difficult time. You've made great decisions. You've managed your business as well. And that reflects on all of our success. And we look forward to continuing that on with you. All right. All the best for the rest of this year. And it's great to be alive and selling cloud with Ingram Micro in 2020.